Hello viewer, thank you for stopping by my channel, Texas Tennis Guy. My name is Cody, and today I'm going to offer a recap of the 2025 Wimbledon Open Championships. We are just exiting that tournament, so we are officially 3/4 of the way through the season. Now, that shouldn't bum anybody out because we have plenty of amazing tournaments that are ahead of us. We have Toronto, Cincinnati, then we're going to have the US Open. After that, we've got Shanghai, we have Paris, Nito ATP Finals, Laver Cup. There's plenty of tennis ahead of us for the rest of the 2025 season, and it's going to be great. There's just no, with everything that's happened this year so far, we know that it's going to be fantastic because these players do not disappoint. Stick around for the end of the video because at the end of the video, I'm going to offer up my personal rating of this year's Wimbledon Open, and you may be surprised at how I rate it. Where else to start this video other than the champions of the tournament? Of course, that's why we watch Wimbledon. We watch it to see champions rise. So on the women's side, okay, we have the Iga Swiatek, the Polish phenom, come out against Amandaanisimova, American hopeful. We know we had a lot of Americans go out early. We had Coco Gauff go out in the first round, along with Jessie Pegula. We had Maddie Keys go out in the third round. So our top players go away early. Amandaanisimova champions U.S. tennis and gets into the final. But this is her first final, her first major final that she's ever played in. So nerves were 100% there, and it showed. One of the quickest major open finals ever played. Iga Swiatek takes it 6-0, 6-0. And that's real emotion here from me because no American tennis fan wants to see that happen. But still incredibly proud of Amandaanisimova making it there with her story of having taken 8 months off of tennis, not knowing if she was going to return, mental health being a factor. It's fantastic to see that she was able to conquer her demons, come back, and do something so impressive, right? In no way is making it to the Wimbledon Open final ever a failure, but of course we do want to see a win after getting there. Now, on Iga Swiatek's side, fantastic for her after a year that has not gone her way. That's been an incredibly frustrating year. She showed incredible poise, determination, and consistency out there, and even when the other player is rattled, she didn't get rattled herself. She went out there like the consummate professional that she is, and the major open champion she is, and she just handled business and did it all with class and grace. So great job, Iga Swiatek, for taking that, and she moves from number 8 where she started the tournament to number 3, so getting back to that number 1 spot that she really would like, being certainly competitive there once again. Now, for the women's doubles, we have Radika Kurudamatova and Elise Mertens that take the women's doubles in 3 sets. Moving on to the men's singles, Jannik Sinner of Italy, Carlos Alcaraz of Spain, the new two, as we've heard them referred to, as they play 4 sets. Carlos Alcaraz takes the first, 6-4. Jannik Sinner takes the next 3, 6-4, 6-4, 6-4. All right. Again, with this match, there was a lot on the line. We had history and pride pretty much on the line. Carlos Alcaraz, only 22 years old, looking to become one of the only players in the Open era to win 3 back-to-back-to-back Wimbledon Open titles. And Jannik Sinner, right, looking to, he's number 1 in the world, but he got a really, I'm going to use the word, humiliating loss at the French Open. right? Has 3 match points, loses all of them in a row, and from there it was a dumpster fire, and Carlos Alcaraz wins the French Open. So pride and history on the line. Carlos Alcaraz has all these stats that are building up, and unfortunately, it just can't keep up with that. So Jannik Sinner wins, comes out there professional, gets the job done, never showed a inch of fear, and just moves through Carlos Alcaraz in exactly the way that he needs to, hitting the ball big from the baseline and taking shots down the line and whenever he needed to, right? He was even able to get Carlos off his footing, making him slip and slide, redirecting the ball really well. So Jannik Sinner, congrats to him and his team, and very well deserved. Now Carlos Alcaraz, on his end, we was a little bit flat, may I say. It was just not the match that we expect to see from Carlos Alcaraz. We expect to see him smiling, laughing, trying crazy shots sometimes, and making amazing happen. But we just didn't see that day from Carlos on Sunday. So a little bit of a disappointment there. He only gave a big Carlos Alcaraz smile when he was fighting for his life in the fourth set. Just 2 games away from losing it all, he has a good point and he smiles. And that's really the only time that we saw a hint of energy and involvement from him. So not the best thing that we would like to see from him, but it's going to be really interesting moving into the last 25% of the season at the U.S. Open. Of course, Carlos Alcaraz and Jannik Sinner are now closer in major Open championships. Jannik Sinner has 4, Carlos has 5. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens over these next couple years and next couple major Opens. Let's move on to some highlights from the tournament. All right. Probably the biggest highlight, Ben Shelton. All right. Ben Shelton makes it to the quarterfinals, loses to Jannik Sinner. However, now this is a pretty amazing, truth here that somebody made me aware of. Ben Shelton has only lost to Carlos Alcaraz and Jannik Sinner in major Opens this year. That means Australian, French, Wimbledon. No one beat Ben except for the top 2 players in the world. That's amazing. Ben Shelton is young, and he's showing himself to be a competitor at the major tournaments. He may not be winning Masters 1000s. He may not be winning, even 500 tournaments. But he is showing up at the majors, and that's that counts for a lot. Now, another great thing to see, Taylor Fritz back into a semifinal against Carlos Alcaraz after not doing anything in the majors this year. Honestly, let's just be real, right? Taylor Fritz goes out in the first round of the French, and he goes out in the third round of the Australian Open. So great to see Taylor back into the final stages of a tournament where he belongs. Okay, and with his showing at Wimbledon, he swaps places with Jack Draper and ends up in the number 4 spot in the rankings. Another highlight is 2 British players win the men's doubles. Didn't mention that earlier. And those are going to be Lloyd Glasspool and Julian Cash. Got it. 2 British players. So congratulations to Britain for putting 2 players out there and them getting a W at their home championship. Another Laura Siegelmund. She moves up 50 spots in the rankings from 104 to 50. And then Flavio Cabali goes from the middle of the pack in the 20s and breaks into the top 20 and ends at number 19. So those are some great standouts from the tournament. And let's get into the reason that I think this was a lackluster tournament. This was not necessarily a tournament that I would love to see replayed, okay? And the reason for that is because so many seeded players got knocked out in the early rounds. In fact, I'll go over a list here of players that got knocked out in the first round, starting with the men. Zverev, this is a scary list. Zverev, Rune, Tsitsipas, Medvedev, Musetti, and Bublik. Musetti and Bublik showed out at the French Open, and of course it's a different surface, so things change. But we expect some confidence, some movement from them, and to come into the grass court season, and all those players that we expect to have awesome and exciting quarterfinal matches potentially against each other, it doesn't happen. So we really, as viewers, feel like we should feel. I feel like it. That I got robbed a little bit of some cool matches. Some potential 5-setters and some good, potential tiebreakers, all that kind of thing. A lot of pressure there, pressure points that would be, kind of pivotal for how the rest of the season is going to go. We didn't get to see it. And it would be okay if it had been, those players had gone out for some dramatic reason, that some new player was coming into town and was going to, shock us all. But none of that happened either. So these players, these are, all potential top 10 guys, except for maybe Bublik. Who knows? He's just too much of a wild card. All of these potential guys just drop out for no good reason, and we don't get any sort of reward from it. And Flavio Cabali, maybe not a huge reward because he's not that exciting to watch, anything like that. And I really don't know his play to get there. If he really had a challenging road to Djokovic, but Djokovic handled him very steadily. So that's really the main reason why this Wimbledon was a little bit of a letdown, because it even happened on the women's side. Okay, at least for Americans. Coco Gauff goes out in the first round. Jessie Pegula. And then on the non-American side, Zhang, number 5 in the world, goes out in the first round. And then back over to the American side, we had Maddie Keys go out in the third round. The list just keeps going on, right? Krejcikova goes out in the third round, the former champion. So all over the board, we lost a lot of players that were set up to give us great matches, and that's a shame. And then even the final matches as well were not that exciting. So we've got some things there in the tournament that we want to say every tournament. All these records are being broken, and titles are being defended, and it's all going to be the best. But this one, from my perspective, from a 3, 4, 5 year perspective, it didn't live up. So that's why I'm going to give this Wimbledon a 7.5. Okay. Jannik Sinner saves the day by, returning and defending his pride and taking the title from Carlos Alcaraz. But the rest of the tournament, kind of a little bit lackluster, but no fear for the rest of the season. The rest of the season is sure to be jam-packed with some amazing tennis. We've got awesome tournaments coming up, and we're going to be here at Texas Tennis Guy, going to be following it all. So stay tuned with us, and thank you for watching this video today. Now, if you made it all the way to the end of this video, I just want to pause here to thank you, dear viewers. My gratitude from the bottom of my heart goes out to you. I'm looking forward to posting new original tennis content, and I'm open to suggestions. Leave a comment of what you would like to see. Leave a comment of maybe what you're looking forward to most in the rest of the 2025 season. Comment, like, subscribe, share with a friend. You know what we're doing here. We're watching and we're involved with tennis. Texas Tennis Guy.